I love making mistakes. Now, I know that probably sounds a little strange coming from an organizer because I think we are perceived as needing to have it all together and being so productive and perfectly organized. But I will just say that it is fascinating to be a content creator, to be a professional organizer, and to make a mistake. Because when I started my career, when I made a mistake, like a typo in an email, I would get some snarky responses. And I could tell that people lost trust in me if I made a mistake. Now, that was 20 years ago, and that's fine. Like, I'm okay losing you if a typo is going to be the deal breaker between us. Our relationship wasn't that strong if that's all it takes to break us. But what I will say is in the last few years, I have noticed that people are so generous and kind when I make a mistake. I was teaching a class a few years ago and I screwed up the timeline in this class, and it was hilarious to watch this group of amazing people all come together to help me fix it, because I'm sitting there teaching and I noticed the mistake and I noticed the mistake and I instantly feel mortified. And the little girl in me is like, oh gosh, they're not going to trust me. What kind of organizer am I that makes a mistake? And my, imperfection starts flooding me and I start having imposter syndrome. And what I was met with was laughter and lightness and kindness and generosity, people coming in and trying to help. And it's interesting because I think in the world of organizing, most people feel like they've been made wrong for so long. They feel like they've done everything wrong and people are just going to notice what's wrong with them in a second and that they stand out. And because of that, because most people, when it comes to their clutter, have felt ashamed and like there's something wrong with them, they tend to be very excited to help and illuminate and showcase how they can be supportive and of service when things go wrong. So in this room of people who were all there trying to get help with their clutter, I had so many people jump in and giving suggestions and offering insight. And it was so beautiful. A few weeks ago, a company hired me to do a virtual training for their employees. And in the middle of all of this, I kept logging myself out. Okay. It's not fun to be paid to show up and teach people how to be productive and not be able to stay in the class. I was mortified. And every time I would come back in, and this was a tech company, and I thought, oh gosh, I'm just going to be attacked for this. People are going to say, oh, I can't trust this girl. They were so lovely and kind and supportive and encouraging, and just they made me feel like so caught in a time where I'm supposed to be there helping them, and they made me feel so caught and held and supported, and it was lovely. And I guess this is just a reminder that I think humans are inherently good. They're good. They want to love and they want to be loved and they want to be patient and supportive. And I know that's not always the case, but I know that that is inside of all of us, to have that kind patience. And so I want to ask you today, how are you with your mistakes? Like, I know it's easy when I make a mistake or I flub a word to just want to support me and meet me there and say, I understood what you were meaning, or it's okay, I do that too. But do you do that for yourself? Do you show up for yourself with your own mistakes, with your own challenges or chaos in your own life, and say, with compassion, it's okay. Everybody does that sometimes. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or there's something wrong with you. How can we start to be a little kinder to ourselves, a little kinder to the little kid inside of us who feels like we're in big trouble if we make a mistake? We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. And how boring would it be if we were all the same and it was all just so computerized and rote? It wouldn't be fun at all. Part of the joy in life is the mistake. Part of the best parts of life are the challenges that we face and the ways that we learn and grow. And so my invitation for you today is to be a little bit more gentle with yourself when you find that you've made a mistake or there's a challenge on your plate, because you would be that patient with me. You would be that loving with me, and you deserve that same amount of love and patience right back at you. So just for today, if something comes up that feels like you could have done it better or feels like a bit of a mistake, give yourself love instead of judgment and frustration. Be kind to yourself. Think of 3 things that you've done that were really beautiful today. Unrelated, it's okay. What we're looking at is, how can we, instead of beating ourselves up and being mean to ourselves and bullying ourselves, how can we instead invite an energy of love, acceptance, compassion, and gratitude into our day-to-day life. And it seems simple. It seems maybe like it's not that important. But when we look at nervous system regulation and we look at having the resources inside of ourselves to deal with stress when it comes up, one of the greatest things that we can do is have been compassionate with ourselves so that we're more resourced when things do go wrong. Because you sending out an email with a spelling error or getting logged out when you're teaching a class, they're not ideal, but it's not make or break in life. That's a small thing compared to the real stresses of life. So try to tap into a well of compassion for yourself when these things happen, because that will help you be more resourced going forward. And as someone who has received the generosity and kindness and patience of others, it just feels good. It feels good, and it makes me feel unafraid to try new things and do brave, unexpected things, because I don't feel like I'm going to be attacked for making a mistake. It allows me to create a safe space for myself to try new things and be willing to do life in a new and unique way. So just for today, can you be more kind and loving and patient with yourself and add a little bit more compassion into your world? Comment below if there is a way that you are compassionate with yourself. I would love to learn from the ways that you show up for you, because I think that we grow best when we grow together. All right, for more tips, organizing, tricks, and insights, please follow me here. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I will see you soon.